would like to say that as a government, we have noted and we are also very keen on evaluating the World Bank programs and processes. We know, and we've been told over and over again, having chosen that vehicle through which to pass the funds, the Netherlands government, the Dutch government has actually put us in a position where we had to go through this big procedural activity that the World Bank has. That is what the World Bank does. Their procedures must be followed. So it is always important to keep evaluating. And we have seen that many countries within our region, including especially the BVI, which suffered just about as much damage as we did in 2017, are questioning the not just questioning and evaluating, but actually demanding that it be better, that it be shorter, the processes be shorter. And so our government will definitely support that we objectively evaluate and bring recommendations to improve the processes even during this period. We've had several discussions, and the NRPB can tell you that I am very much forceful in asking that we find another solution for some of the projects that have been stagnated, especially where it pertains to the vulnerable persons within our society and the vulnerable institutions, such as our airport right now. We can all agree that these processes have been stagnating the recovery of St. Martin, and we will do everything within our power, including if it requires it, to move certain projects out of that process and get government to be able to get that moving in a different manner. We will inform as we move forward, and once you've seen that presentation on all the projects from the NRPB. The SEDEMA conference, which started today as well, will bring forward all types of recommendations and actions, which I believe will be very important for us because it is regional as well as worldwide influence in this conference, which will definitely benefit us as a country in the recovery process in how we can streamline the procurement processes which we are currently using. Of course, the best case scenario is to just always have your own money. And so we have to look at ways as completing that fund which was started and keeping it funded, not touching it, and making sure we have disaster funds available for the future. Can the NRPB present Parliament on the finances of the trust fund? I already mentioned that. So yes, once the invitation is sent out from Parliament, the NRPB will be back to Parliament to make the presentations and or answer questions that any MPs may have about the trust fund. MP Westcott Williams further inquired about the documents that had been previously shared with Parliament and why certain new documents could be shared now and not before. A lot of the information was indeed shared with, had indeed been shared with Parliament before via the answering of questions, through term sheets of the World Bank and the European Investment Bank, as well as the draft agreement with the bondholders, which was sent by the previous Prime Minister. However, my team will have to check with those documents to see at what moment precisely and which pieces of information was received when, to be able to give an overview as the Member of Parliament requested, including the new documents that were provided in the past week. A key point, of course, is that these agreements, the agreements recently shared, could only be shared through a confidentiality procedure of Parliament. And it is in the meetings that I held together with the Council of Ministers with the NRPB, in them stating what was needed and the bondholders still exacting the same requirement as they did from the caretaker government, that I stated that Parliament can see confidential documents up in the offices of the Secretary General. They stated that I was actually the first Prime Minister to make that aware to them, and so because of that, they actually put those documents on display and allowed for that to happen. And we're very happy that members of Parliament, albeit just a few, took the opportunity to peruse said documents and ask the necessary questions. We also understand that the agreements were only finalized in September and could not be shared before that time, as they were still very much in the discussion phases. So even though you would have gotten the idea that this agreement could have happened, way before, it is only in September that the parties thereto came to an agreement as to what those agreements would be. Those are the questions of MP Westcott Williams. The other two MPs made statements, and then from MP Myers, we have a question pertaining to where it is stated that the Dutch government indicated that interest should be paid for the loan that we are giving to the airport, and that was never indicated that the Dutch government stated that. This was a decision taken by the local government of St. Martin, and based on the fact that the airport hadn't been exactly compliant in paying the concession fees, and as well as not giving that open door to other government-owned companies to feel that they could also receive funds in that manner, thereby, blocking other things from being done with funds that are needed. Government-owned companies have been sustainable for many, many years. They are actually businesses of government who we expect to be able to make a profit, and as such, if they are not making a profit, it would be very difficult for them to pay dividends, etc., etc. So we will do all we can to assist them. Of course, this government can always sit down, evaluate, discuss, and negotiate to either lower it or remove it as well. So we're not going to have that discussion with the airport right there, but as a government, it is up to us to, that is not an agreement that is set in stone in terms of how that would go. It's not a requirement of the Dutch government. It is of the St. Martin government. Or I should say, of the previous St. Martin government. What is the outstanding monthly payments at the airport? The outstanding monthly payments at the airport are approximately $3.5 million quarterly. Was pre-clearance in the original plans of the airport. In the original designs, pre-clearance was not a part of it, but in 2012, the master plan was updated to accommodate pre-clearance. What is the new cost of pre-clearance? There are estimates in capital improvements of between 70 to 90 million US dollars, with operational and annual cost estimated at $6 to $8 million. The Member of Parliament also wanted to know what is the repayment of a loan on the 240 million, which it's really in shorthand here due to time constraints, but I'm assuming this was with the other options that were proposed. The 240 million. Mr. Chairman, I just would like to make sure the 240 million in terms of repayment on a loan on 240, was the Member of Parliament referring to other options?
I see the nod of the head, but there's also the opportunity for clarification in case it's not. So I'll allow you to continue. MP, if you have to clarify, we use a clarification.
No, the head shake was enough. Thank you. And so if that is what the MP was referring to, that would have come at the repayment would have been 1.4 million per month, 4.2 million per quarter over 30-year span at 6%, which would yield a total repayment of $518 million. What is the required monthly payment over the 240? The 1.4 million. It's answered in that first part. How much airlift to support that loan would be about an average of 1 million passengers departing per year over the 30-year loan period. What is the airlift now? Currently, the airlift is at 610,000, which is down from 2016, which was 870,000 passengers at the time, the 2016 numbers, not the 2017, but 2016.
has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Mike, I don't know if it got lost in the translation. I think my question was clear. Does this new government support the Dutch proposed CFO? Not if you're accepting an agreement that was signed. That's something else. I want to know your position because, again, when we rewind the hands of time, we were the government that was selling out to the Dutch. You are the ones that opposed the 550 million euro. You were the ones who opposed the proposal of a Dutch CFO. I want to know, is your position as government now the same? Do you support this? Or have you changed your mind and now support this? Or are you against a Dutch CFO? That was that question. I also asked another question. I want to know, when is the official start of the tourist season? That question was not answered. And I'm glad that you answered the question as it relates to, again, because propaganda is one thing. I'm glad you answered the question, where is it stated that the Dutch gave instruction to put an interest on the 50 million that was loaned. And I'm glad that you stated that it was never proposed by the Dutch. Again, it was propaganda to push an agenda in which it had seemed like we were selling out to the Dutch, which was not the case. Another point of clarity question was asked as it regards to the benefits of pre-clearance, because all we're hearing, and yes, I am for pre-clearance, but superficially, in the sense of, okay, it makes it easy for me to travel. When you leave here, you don't have to clear customs and all that in the United States you reach. But what I want to know is, what are the benefits? You're going to have to tell the people of St. Martin the benefits. How is it going to benefit St. Martin? Is St. Martin going to be used at a hub? What the question I was actually looking for, if we are going to be used at a hub, what are the projections? How many flights out of Argentina we can expect annually, out of Brazil, out of Colombia, that will use St. Martin as a hub to go to the U.S., and how this will boost the economy of the airport. Not that, oh, it's going to be beneficial because it's U.S. pre-clearance. Here it is, you're saying the cost of the proposed new development for pre-clearance is between 70 and 90 million US dollars. The cost of the Princess Juliana Airport, Princess Juliana International Airport, when it was constructed, was $104 million. We're building a new airport for pre-clearance alone. Well, then we're going to have to substantiate how is that going to be beneficial to the point in which the airport has been beneficial to St. Martin. You're going to have to propose to explain that. And last but not least, I did not get an answer on the annual carrying capacity of the Princess Juliana Airport. I thank you.
Thank you, Madam Prime Minister, for your answers. And these answers have prompted the following requests for clarification. You repeated more than once that the NRPB and the airport are more than willing to provide the Parliament of St. Martin with a tour, an explanation of the reconstruction project for the airport, and also provide whatever other information. My question regarding the National Recovery Program Bureau had to do specifically with the financial part of this bureau. And I would want to ask through the chairperson if that information can be provided. I don't think we have to await the tour or an explanation of the airport to receive that information. And while we're at it, can we also receive the administrative financial part of the World Bank as well? So not the projects and the amount, but specifically the amounts paid to the World Bank to administer, etc., etc. Secondly, Madam, through the chairperson, Madam Prime Minister, your colleague, the Minister of Finance, is not here, but I would like to receive an answer to the question regarding the matter of the UTS questions. And I indicated that the Minister of Finance responded to other comments, but did not give an indication when I can get the answers as I requested for the question hour, and for which the chairperson of Parliament indicated that when the minister is available and ready to answer, he would be invited for that question hour. The reason why I'm sort of sticking on the point of UTS is because of the following. On the 9th of November, it was reported that a statement by police officers read as follows. As police officers, we would love if this would actually happen, but we feel like it is just another political stunt before elections. Last week, Wednesday, the Minister of Finance said in the press briefing that proceeds from the UTS sale would go towards the back pay in the justice chain, but they only receive half of the amount that they were supposed to receive from the UTS sale so far, and they would receive the rest within 2 to 3 months. The article continues to say, Minister Geerlings, the minister at the time, also explained that the legal counsel of the buyers had some issues with some of the wordings in the contract. So now the contract has to be adjusted and sent to the governor, then to the Council of Advice, then back to the Minister of Finance to be finalized. But wait, after that, still from the article, it still has to go to the floor of Parliament for handling. Based on those statements, I would really like to know when my questions to the UTS sale can be answered. Thirdly, as clarification, I would like, through the chairperson of Parliament, the Prime Minister to be very specific about the agreements that were concluded only in September. So which agreements were concluded only in September, that they were not concluded before, could not be shared before, no one had insight into them before? Which are those agreements that were concluded only in September? And fourthly, what specific information was not shared before and has now been shared that has led the government now to conclude that they have sufficient comfort to be in agreement with the airport reconstruction project? So the government claimed that because of the lack of information, they have been, in one capacity or the other, against the reconstruction of the airport. Question: what specific information has now been shared that has led the government to conclude that they have sufficient comfort to believe in the reconstruction project of the airport?
Make use of WIB mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download WIB mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit wib-bank.net/quick-login.
Yes, the Lab Sports Academy in collaboration with Mr. Brookson, we try to do something for the kids. We're here with Tom Egberink, who is a physically, I'll say a Paralympic athlete, which came here and he's going to be educating us on what is possible in this field of tennis, even though you are physically impaired. And Mr. Brookson was so fond of that to try and bring him here. So he is the motor behind bringing Tom here and getting him. This isn't his first time, but now he's doing it on a bigger scale and have given the children an opportunity to see what it's all about, wheelchair tennis, which he's now one of the world's best 10 or 7, 9. He's number 9 on the world list of wheelchair tennis. I'll give you Mr. Brookson. He can give a little more rundown of what it's all about.
I'm very happy that together with Les that we could host this afternoon, to bring the children in contact with somebody who is differently able. Now, Tom is a family member of ours, and he just participated in a World Championship in Orlando, Florida, where he became number 3 in the doubles competition. So after that, he wanted to spend a few days on St. Martin on vacation. And then I said, you know what, since he's here, let me contact Les Brown and maybe we could put an event together, to bring the children in contact with Tom. So we decided to organize a greet and meet session. And I must say it was very nice. The kids were very excited. They had many questions to ask to Tom. And as the public at large may already know, in 2012 and 2013, we've had a foundation called the Be Able Foundation. And the goal of this foundation was to encourage our differently able to come out and do some sport. We wanted to tell them, although you are physically handicapped, there is always something that you can do and be active in sports. And for 2 consecutive years, we hosted an international champion wheelchair tennis tournament here on St. Martin. Unfortunately, it came to a standstill due to several factors. And then, of course, we had a hurricane in between. But we are very willing to start up this whole program again. The only thing is we would need some more volunteers to help us to host another tournament so that the people here can see and can be encouraged to get into sports. So I want to say thank you to Les for stepping in, Les.
It's a pleasure.
Right? And I have to mention one thing. We have another foundation that is called the Foundation Community Aid Century Hill. And this foundation has footed the bill for this event here this afternoon, for the treat for the kids and also to help accommodate Tom to move around here on the island. Tom, thank you for being our guest. And of course, I won't rest until I see you be the #1 of the world. Okay?
I'll do my best. Yeah.
Much success.
Thanks. It's really nice to be here, back on the island. It's always, it's good to be seeing the family, but it's more important thing to show the kids what you can do when you have a handicap. I do it a lot in Holland, but for here, I think a lot of people don't know even that people are handicapped, and most of them they will be keeping inside, and they don't go outside and don't meet the other people. I think that's one of the most important things in the world, to be able to go out and have fun with your friends and go to the bar, go to supermarket, go shopping. And for the rest, I think it's very important for every person that you can do a sport that you like. So for me, it's really important to play my tennis, because that's my life. But there's so many more sports you can do when you have a handicap. So I would say, don't stay inside, but come out and enjoy life.
It's opened up a world for you, eh? You travel to all countries of the world. Yes.
Yeah. But I say I'm traveling a lot, and I'm going to Japan, Australia, all traveling in Europe, Israel. Yeah. What is a country that I didn't go to is like, I don't know. At the moment, it's a lot. Yeah.